Good morning and welcome to the Nürburgring on this damp, cool Sunday. What an exciting weekend in the series with a new championship leader since yesterday in the shape of Robert Schwartzman, who put in a great race yesterday, taking his fourth victory of the season, the last one being back at Pau. So it's a nice return to form for him. And with this fourth win of the season, the SMP Racing protege retakes the lead in the general classification ahead of the Will Palmer of RACE GP, who finished 8th yesterday. Daniel Tichtum, Arden Motorsport, won the rookie division yesterday, crossing the finish line in 4th place. We'll have a look back at yesterday's race in just a moment. Weather here not so nice this morning, as we can see on the screen. Damp, not heavy rain, but enough to wet the track. And according to the Weather Bureau, current conditions, we have about 14 degrees outside. That's feels like about 12 degrees. 95% relative humidity, 1,024 millibars the barometer, and falling. And slight rain. We're going to be having the same conditions over the next hours here at the Nürburgring. Of course, the weekend here, the 6 hours of the Nürburgring, the big WEC race taking place today, and these young drivers, one of the curtain raisers to that the big race. Formula Renault Eurocup arrived, of course, yesterday at the Nürburgring with the 12th race of 2017. That marked the halfway point of the season. Germany's Eifel region put on relatively mild weather yesterday, around 16 degrees and clear, although cloudy, for the race start. Many of the drivers actually racing on this historic track for the very first time in this series. Coming around the track to line up on the pits. We can see the conditions not fantastic for the cars this morning. Choice of tires will be rather delicate today. Those rooster tails flying up behind the cars as they come back around, back into the pit lane. Officially declared a wet track by the race director. Yesterday, Schwartzman started from pole position. He got off to a clean start, but the following positions were really hotly disputed right through the race. Daniel Tichtum from Arden Motorsport was in 3rd position, and he attacked Max Defoni on the outside just at the start, but the Belgian driver held onto his ground. Fenestraz then went on to attack Tichtum, and he took 3rd place, so Tichtum dropped back. It was then the turn of Max Fertrell to put the pressure on Tichtum, also going on the attack. And Tichtum went actually off the track under the pressure from Fertrell, and to his advantage. And since then, the stewards have made a decision from yesterday's race. Yesterday evening at 6:37 to be exact. The fact that Tichtum left the track and gained an advantage, breach of the art, sporting regulations, and a 5-second penalty was added to his total race time. It didn't drop him down in the rankings, however, so that was the steward's decision yesterday from the incident involving Daniel Tichtum in car number 33. Enrique Chavez then went on to attract Fertrell in the second part of the race. That was a rather spectacular move. He got through, but Fertrell really didn't like it and didn't take it lying down. And a great battle then ensued right to the end of the race yesterday. Schwartzman went through to take the victory with Max Defoni just behind. Defoni had been threatening for some time throughout the race yesterday, but just couldn't get through. Palmer, now the championship leader, was the championship leader. He started 10th on the grid. He managed to make it up to 8th or 9th at the end. I think 8th place at the finish. Schwartzman said he was very happy yesterday. Said the team did a massive job, and good quality, and the pace was there during the race. And so he's hoping to keep it up through the season. Now he's at the top of the table. Max Defoni said he was happy with the points, but he wasn't there to finish 2nd. Unfortunately, Defoni hasn't finished at the top of the podium so far this season. Yesterday he had the speed to win. Qualifying went well. But and he was first actually in Q1 in the race. He was able to put pressure on Robert for a long time, but just couldn't get through. Sacha Fenestraz said he was lucky this time he didn't jump the start like he did at the last race at the Hungaroring. Put in a good race. He overtook Daniel on lap 1, but then it was difficult to catch the leaders for Fenestraz. So he just took care of the car and settled in for third place. Tichtum said he had no grip in the first 3 laps. Said it was a bit unusual. Got a good start and had to slow in the first series of corners to avoid understeer. Looking at the season calendar, we're at the halfway point right now at the Nürburgring this weekend for racing on a damp track. As they go on to the Red Bull Ring, then back to France to Le Castellet, and then to Belgium to Spa-Francorchamps, and the final race of the season at Barcelona. Nürburgring, of course, a legendary track in the world of racing, dating from the time of the Nordschleife and also the Southern Loop as well, with the cars really in a dangerous situation most of the way when they go around that track, and some amazing races still taking place there. Here we are on the Grand Prix track, as we can see on the screen, 5.137 kilometers long, as they line up and prepare for the second race of the Hungary weekend. Yesterday's second qualifying session determined the starting grid for race 2. Schwartzman led in the first group on the track before his best lap was disallowed because he caused a red flag. In Group A, Sascha Fenestraz clocked a time of 1:54.741 to take the pole. Today he'll line up ahead of Daniel Tichtum, Yifei Ye from Joseph Kaufmann Racing, and Robert Schwartzman, followed by Max Deforny. So Schwartzman a little bit further back on the grid this morning. We'll go through the grid positions in just a few moments' time. Championship saw, as we said, Schwartzman moving up to the top of the championship with 194 points following yesterday's brilliant performance at the Nürburgring. Palmer going down to second position on 178. Palmer, as we said, finishing, I think, 8th from memory yesterday. Fenestraz now on third position, still on third position with 167. Another mover in the championship is Max Deforny, who's gone up now to fourth position with 123 points. And Aubry has dropped down 1 in the rankings. He's now 5th in the championship with 116 points. Daniel Tichtum is in 6th position with 82 points, followed by Peroni, the Australian driver, on 67, and Fertrell on 66. Fenestraz, we can see number 3 in the championship on our screen at the moment, from Joseph Kaufmann Racing. Damp conditions we could see as the cars were going around just a moment ago for the initial lining up on the grid. There was some quite impressive rooster tails. Not raining heavily, but just enough to make things difficult. We can see the wet tires on the cars. The track is officially wet, and the cars will start behind the safety car. Official news from the race director. The race will start behind the safety car due to the wet track conditions. In the foreground, we could see those wet tires. If the track dries out during the ensuing laps, it'll be interesting to see how the cars perform as well. Nürburgring, circuit renowned around the world, built in 1984, the Grand Prix racetrack anyway. On the screen we can see car number 1, Yifei Ye of Joseph Kaufmann Racing, Chinese rookie driver. And Yifei currently on the grid in a very good position. He's in third position on the grid, putting in excellent performance in qualifying. The girls roll out and prepare for the start. Car number 10, of course, Robert Schwartzman, our current leader, the Russian driver, having won a few races earlier on in the season. This was his 4th win yesterday. Helmet with an interesting Russian design. We were talking to him about that just the other day. Chosen due to those swirly images, typical apparently of Russian designs, which we learned. Max Deforny, the Belgian driver from RACE GP. Deforny won to go on the attack, never worried about going on the attack. In Monaco, we saw some brilliant performances from Max, and of course yesterday he was really putting on the pressure to try and get through into the first position in the race past Schwartzman, but just couldn't get through. In the last few laps we saw Deforny creeping back up, but he just couldn't get there in the end. Max Deforny, really one to watch at the moment. Although Deforny currently in 5th place on the grid on line 3, as the cars prepare to roll out for the start behind the safety car. First one lap and then a rolling start. Very delicate conditions on a track that's already pretty tough as it is. If it's dry, in wet conditions it can be extremely tricky. The Nürburgring, the original track built back in the 1920s. This track, the Grand Prix track, built in the 1980s, just next to the medieval castle of Nürburgring here in the Eifel Mountains. A beautiful region, by the way, if you've never been here before. If you can come for a race one day, if you haven't been here, take some time as well to go and explore the region with its rolling green hills and forests and little German villages. Fantastic area. As they roll off for the formation lap of this second race here at the Nürburgring. And while the Nordschleife is known as the Green Hell, perhaps this track today might be better known as the Grey Hell for these drivers, with the difficult conditions that we can see on our screens right now. Reminder, the race is starting behind the safety car, a wet track. They call it here the GP Strecke, the Grand Prix track, which is used for many major and international racing events. The Nordschleife is still used for racing and also testing, and you can go on the public road if you want, but you're not allowed to speed, and that's apparently quite heavily enforced at times. This track has been described by some, well, one was Webber, described it as an old school track, and said it's a beautiful little circuit for us to still drive on. So I think all the guys enjoy driving here. Hamilton also described this as a fantastic circuit, one of the classics, and he said it hasn't lost that feel of an old classic circuit. A number of touring car series still compete on the Nordschleife, as we said, using either only the simple 20-kilometer version with its separate small pit lane, or a combined long track that uses part of the original modern F1 track here without the Mercedes arena section, which is just after the start-finish straight, which is often used for support pits, and plus its huge pit facilities. Entry-level competition requires a regularity test for street-legal cars, so you can actually go here if you have a car that fits. You can go and race on the Nordschleife. The highlight, of course, here every year is the 24 Hours of Nürburgring. It's held generally in mid-May with about 200 or more cars. All sorts of cars from 100 horsepower up to the turbo Porsches, cars up to 700 horsepower with the factory race cars, BMW, Audi, Mercedes, etc. Over 700 drivers come here for that event. This weekend, a reminder, it's the WEC, the World Endurance Championship weekend here at the Nürburgring. The support race for the endurance race that lasts 6 hours on this track. Cars preparing for a start, coming round through the Coca-Cola corner and back into the start-finish straight. Yellow flags waving. Safety car start for this second race of the weekend here at the Nürburgring. Track quite wet, cars zigzagging, trying to get the temperature up on the tires, difficult at this speed. Race director will decide at which point the race will be able to get underway proper. Current racing conditions, the cars are officially under racing conditions, but behind the safety car with 21.5 minutes left to run, plus 1 lap. Cars wearing wet tyres, but the conditions still a little bit difficult for them to get off to a start. The safety car remaining there. Let's take a quick look at the grid positions as we wind around the track behind the safety car. Sascha Fenestraz in pole position in car number 11. In second place on the grid, Daniel Tichtum. Also a great performance for him in qualifying. Tichtum in car number 33. He's the young Red Bull driver from Arden Motorsport, a rookie. In third position on the grid, we have Yifei Ye, the Chinese driver in car number 1, another rookie. So the rookie's doing very well. Robert Schwartzman, the new championship leader, is in fourth position as they wind around behind the safety car. Max Tefoni, the Belgian driver in car number 9 from RSGP, is in fifth position on third line. Safety car hopefully due to come off in another lap. A bit of luck. Quite difficult conditions out there. The visibility in the places behind very, very difficult with that spray coming up from the first cars. Max Fertrol is in sixth position. Of course, Max Fertrol in car number 7. Tech 1 Racing, he's one of the Renault Sport Academy drivers. Renault Sport Academy with three drivers here, of course, as is the case throughout the year. The other ones are Sanyu Yang in car number 21 and Jano Okmir in car number 30. Renault Sport Academy doing a terrific job training them and giving them all the backing they need to get up through the ranks and to the higher levels of motorsport. Will Palmer, the previous championship leader, is back on the fourth line in car number 8 from RSGP. Alongside him, Gabriel Aubry, car number 4. On the fifth line, we've got Alexander Vartanyan in car number 23 from JD Motorsport. Alongside him, Thomas Randall, the Australian driver, new to the series since the last races at the Hungaroring. He's in the AVF by Adrian Valles car, number 16. On the sixth line, starting on the grid, we have Alex Peroni, the other Aussie driver from Fortec Motorsport, car number 17. Alongside him, Neil Verhagen, MP Motorsport, car number 31. On the seventh line, Enrique Chavez, who yesterday we saw also really going on the attack and putting in a brilliant performance in the latter stages of the race, trying to get back up into a fifth position and protecting then his position when he got it. Car number 13, that's Enrique Chavez. Alongside him, Richard Verschoor from MP Motorsport in car number 29. On eighth line on the grid, it's Zane Goddard from Arden Racing, car number 93. Alongside him, Thomas Neubauer from Tech 1 Racing in car number 6. Alex Mattis, AVF by Adrian Valles, in car number 15 on the 9th row of the grid. Alongside him, Lewis Leeds, Joseph Kaufman. On the 10th line on the grid, we have Alexei Kornev from Fortec Motorsport in car number 18. Alongside him, Jean-Baptiste Simenauer, JD Motorsport in car number 22. On the 11th line on the grid, Charles Malaysia, one of the newcomers to the pack this weekend. He's in car number 40. Malaysia, a young French driver, known by some as the Red Devil, I think, because he's a redhead. He's been driving in the French Formula 4 Championship, where he's had so far a win and 2 podiums. Also in the NEC, he's been racing with RSGP. And alongside him on the 11th line, we've got Naji Razak, the Malaysian driver from Fortec Motorsports in car number 20. A long way from home. Frank Bird is on the 12th line on the grid in car number 19 from Fortec Motorsports. Alongside him, Sun Yu Yang. As we said, mentioned one of the Renault Sport Academy drivers. He's on the 12th line on the grid alongside Frank Bird in car number 21 from JD Motorsport. 13th, lucky 13 on the grid, Raul Guzman from RSGP in car number 12. Alongside him, Theo Keiko, another wildcard racer this weekend in car number 41. A young French driver, 17 years old. Still feeling things out. Perhaps if he gets into the next races, we might see how he performs there. But at the moment, Theo Keiko in car number 41, right towards the back of the grid. Presley Martineau, the Indonesian driver from Mark Burdett Motorsport, on the 14th line on the grid in car number 26. Alongside him, Thomas Maxwell from Tech 1 Racing in car number 5. Second last line on the grid, Julia Pankovic, the young Polish driver from Mark Burdett Motorsport in car number 25. The only female driver on the track, so we're always wishing her a good race. And alongside her, Jarno Opmeer in car number 30. Jarno, one of the other Renault Sport Academy drivers. And in lucky last place on the grid, it's Ghislaine Cordel from Arden Racing, car number 34. There we have the starting grid for this second race of the weekend here at the spectacular Nürburgring in the Eifel Ranges here in the heart of Germany, not too far from Cologne, where most people tend to fly into, or Düsseldorf as well. And we've got a couple of cars that have gone off despite the safety car. Two cars going off the track with the safety car on the track. Not too sure it was one of the Red Bull cars. Obviously the conditions very, very slippery. The race director listening intently to the conversation with the safety car driver, no doubt saying, sorry guys, we're not going to be able to start this race full at the moment with conditions as they are. Very slight drizzle, but enough to keep the track very wet, as it's been going on since quite a while before the start of this race. Cars now speeding up as the safety car has come off. Turn 6, they have noted an incident. Cars racing full. Fenestras leading from Tictum, with Yifei, the other rookie, just behind Max de Forny in 4th position. Safety car coming off just at the right moment. Yellow flag at turn 5, as there's an incident there. Fenestras leading through the Haug hook. Oh, we've got an incident on the Haug hook. That looks like Aubrey, perhaps. Several cars going off at the Haug hook right now. We've got car number 40, one of the newcomers, as well as car number 34. That's Ghislaine Cordil, the tail enders. Back markers there. It's a very difficult hairpin just at the end of that start-finish straight. We also have car number 31 off the track at that point. That's Neil Verhagen, the American driver. That's Chavez. Have a yellow flag, and the safety car will be coming back out at this point. That's car number 40. Charles Malaysia, the French driver, in a very delicate position in the corner, while car number 13, Enrique Chavez, is off in the gravel. That's AVF by Adrian Valles' car, Enrique Chavez. Several cars going off at that point, with Verhagen off, Chavez off, and also Charles Malaysia off. A replay of the action with the Red Bull cars going straight through. Car number 13 on the inside, impacting with car number 23. That's Alexander Vartanyan, the Russian driver, managing apparently to get back into the running, although not too sure. Car number 9, that's Max de Forny, also pushed off. An aerial view of that incident. The cars magically managing to get around several cars going off all at the same time. It's chaos out there on the track at the moment. Car number 31 also being pushed off. That's Neil Verhagen's car. Safety car back out on the track with Fenestraz in the #1 position, as Enrique Chavez's car is taken off the gravel. 10 minutes left to run. Looks like there'll be quite a while behind the safety car until they can clear these cars off the track. A number of cars involved there. We had Neil Verhagen. We had Enrique Chavez going right off into the gravel. Charles Malaysia also spinning in a very difficult position. The Russian driver Alexander Vartanyan going off as well, and Max Stefani in car number 9. Cordial is back in the pit lane. Team working on the car number 34. That's the car of Charles Malaysia being towed off. Very difficult conditions, as we've been saying since the beginning of the race. Yellow flag. Charles Malaysia taken out of that very delicate position. The car's zigzagging, trying to keep the temperature up with the tires, but it's just not so easy going out there at the moment. Safety car continuing to lead the pack. It's Fenestraz in the green car just behind. Sacha Fenestraz, of course, the French-Argentine driver. He's born in France, but his parents are Argentinian and Colombian. He was raised in Argentina. Began karting in 2006 at the age of 7, taking part in events across France and Argentina. And then in 2016, he switched to Formula Renault 2.0 with Tech 1 Racing. He ended the season 5th. Had several podiums, 2 wins and several podiums. Also, he got 2 podiums this year in Monza, 2nd in race 1, 2nd in race 2. He's been doing well throughout the year. Fenestraz. Currently in 3rd position on the championship, after a win also in Monaco in the 2nd race. Putting in a great performance in Monaco. Back for another win there. And the podium finishes in a number of races this year. Of course, in Hungaroring, he had 2 podium finishes as well, in race 9 and race 10 of the season. The team's backing back up after the safety car. Instructions going backwards and forwards between the race director and the safety car. A replay now of that action in those corners, as car number 4 of Aubrey goes for a bit of a spin. Very, very difficult conditions for this race here this weekend. And it'll be interesting to see how the endurance race of the weekend, the 6 hours of the Nürburgring, pans out. Interestingly, our friends at Renault Sport were telling me that 60% of the current drivers in the 6 hours of the Nürburgring in the WEC Championship have come through the Renault chain. The Renault series of different kinds, including most most of the LMP1 drivers like Neil Jani, Andre Lotterer, Earl Bamber, of course, in the Porsche, Olivier Webb in the Bicol racing team, and Marco Bononomi from Italy. In the Toyota team of this, basically almost all the drivers have come through the Renault series. Mike Conway, Kamui Kobayashi, Jose Maria Lopez in the car number 7, the Toyota. Safety car will be coming in this lap. Cars still slipping and sliding behind the safety car as the safety car goes off. They're racing again. Fenestraz out in the lead as they come through the start-finish straight. Ticktum right behind. Ticktum attacking on the inside. Ticktum is attacking, going through on the inside. Ticktum taking, he's gone back on the outside. That was a bad line through that corner, but a very, very daring move from Ticktum in car number 33, the rookie, attacking Fenestraz through turn 1, keeping the pressure on. There's also a battle for third position, with Schwartzman attacking, going on the outside. Schwartzman's going through. That's Schwartzman passing Yifeye. And there's battles happening all over the place at this point in the race. Has gone through into third position. It's Fenestraz leading from Ticktum, followed by Schwartzman, Yifeye, Will Palmer in 5th position, Gabriel Aubry in 6th, followed by Feutrel, Randall, Deforny, Peroni, Leeds and Goddard. 4.5 minutes left before the final lap, as the conditions very, very difficult for the drivers coming around, with Fenestraz leading. Fenestraz pulling away now from the rest of the pack as Ticktum fell back after that initial attack going through turn 1. That's Deforny going on the attack. Deforny loves going on the attack in any race. His prey now is Max Feutrel in car number 7. Deforny's going through, or wants to go through, into 7th position to get those very, very valuable points. Max Deforny, the Belgian driver in the blue car. As we see the leaders again, Fenestraz in car number 11, leading by 2.117 seconds in that last lap. Ticktum resigning himself now to 2nd position, but Schwartzman's just behind him, and he could be putting on the pressure at any point. Schwartzman, the new championship leader, in car number 10 in 3rd position. Fenestraz is pulling away from the rest of the pack. Well, 1.761 seconds. Ticktum still actually keeping the distance, so the battle's happening a little bit further back in the pack, where visibility is atrocious at this point for the young drivers out there on the track in the 2nd race of the weekend here at the Nürburgring. That's further back in the pack. Matus attacking Goddard, Zane Goddard, the New Zealand driver. Neubauer just behind, putting on the pressure on Matus. Battle for 13th position. We can see Matus in car number 15, followed by Neubauer and Guzman, as Neubauer goes off, trying a little bit too hard to get through. Further back, that's Guzman in car number 12. Fenestraz, after 8 laps, 2 minutes left to go before the final lap, leading by 2.125 seconds. From Ticktum, Schwartzman in 3rd position, followed by Yifeye. Coming through now the Advan Bogen section of the track before going into the chicane. Turns 14 and 15. And into the final corner, the Coca-Cola corner before the start-finish straight. Car number 11, Fenestras, leading the pack. Further back, attacks happening. That's car number 12. It's in 14th position. That's Guzman attacking Matus for 13th position. Meanwhile, further back, Opmeer in car number 30, also under pressure. He's back in 18th position, one of the rookie drivers. Fenestras putting in the fastest lap as well, with 2:13.023 seconds. Quite a bit faster than the following cars. The next fastest, of course, was Ticktum with his last lap at 2:13.461. So a good 0.4 of a second difference between Fenestras and Ticktum. Ticktum dropping back now from Fenestras, lap by lap. Fenestras leading a very easy race with very little time now before the final lap. Goddard, Zane Goddard from New Zealand. Under attack from Matus in car number 15. Matus going on the inside, then on the outside. Not getting through. He's putting on the pressure. Matus trying to get through past Zane Goddard in car number 93. Dropping back. Just in front of them, Lewis Leeds in car number 2, the other rookie. As Peroni drops down. What's happened to Peroni? Had an incident somewhere along the track. Alex Peroni dropping down a number of places there. Fenestras leading by 2.508 seconds as they come back into the final hairpin into the start-finish straight. Fenestras now leading by 2.508 in the last lap. What will it be? 2.478, keeping a good lead from Ticktum as they go into the last lap. It's Fenestras putting in a brilliant race throughout this second race here at the Nürburgring. Sascha Fenestras, third in the championship. Only one win so far this season. This is going to be his second win of the season. Fenestras going through, putting in a perfect race despite the atrocious conditions, most of them done behind the safety car, and then that catastrophe in the mid-race point when I think 7 or 8 cars all went off at the same time. Fenestras cruising to an easy victory in front of Daniel Ticktum. Ticktum managing to hang on to his second position from Yifei Ye in third position, Gabriel Aubry in fourth. Battle happening between Palmer and Futrell. Futrell really putting on the pressure on Palmer. Palmer, the championship leader up to this point, and he's not too comfortable apparently on this track, or perhaps the settings are just not right for him. Futrell keeping on the pressure right till the end with Palmer in fifth position. Max Deforny in seventh, still putting on the pressure as well. Coming through the Warsteiner curve. Car number 11, Fenestras, leading by an easy margin of well over 3 seconds from Daniel Ticktum. Yifei Ye in third position, 5.782 seconds behind the leader. Gabriel Aubry, 6.774 seconds behind the leader. Just behind Aubry, we've got Palmer and Futrell still battling it out, but as the turns go by, the leaders approach the final section of the circuit and prepare to take the victory for Fenestras. Coming through the Coca-Cola corner and into the final straight, it's Sascha Fenestras who's going to take the win of this race with an easy margin ahead of Ticktum. A beautiful race for Fenestras ahead of Ticktum, Yifei Ye, Aubry, Palmer, Futrell and Deforny. And the team are over the moon back in the pit lane. A fantastic race for Fenestras, his second win of the season. Sascha Fenestraz with Schwartzman, the championship leader, back in 8th position. A full 12.771 seconds behind the leader. And at the end of this race, the cars coming straight off and going into the Parc Fermé due to the very compact nature of the number of races we've got here at the Nürburgring this weekend. Cars coming through. Final rankings. Fenestraz, after 11 laps, most of which, or I'd say 60 or 70% of which, done behind the safety car, taking victory here in the Nürburgring at the second race, ahead of Daniel Tichtum, 3.915 seconds behind. Yifei, the Chinese driver, just behind in 3rd position. Gabriel Aubry in 4th. Will Palmer in 5th. Max Deforny, the Belgian driver, in 6th position. Veutrel in 7th. Robert Schwartzman, the championship leader, in 8th position. So that's going to be very tight again between Schwartzman and Palmer. The two in the lead of the championship. As we look at the final rankings from this second very damp race here at the Nürburgring. Sascha Fenestraz, Joseph Kaufmann Racing, winning from Daniel Tichtum from Arden, 3.915 seconds. Distance between those two. Joseph Kaufmann Racing's Yifei, the Chinese driver, in 3rd position ahead of Gabriel Aubry, always on the attack. Tech 1 Racing, car number 4, full 7 seconds behind the leaders, followed by Will Palmer, Deforny, Veutrel, Schwartzman, Randall, the Aussie driver, up in 9th position. Leeds in 10th, Goddard, 11th, Mattis, managed to make it through into 12th position, nevertheless. Guzman in 13th, Verschoor 14th, Alex Peroni 15th, Opmeer in 16th position, and Simonauer 17th, followed by Maxwell 18th, Korneve 19th, and Razak in 20th position. Looking back at this damp race, the highlights of which will no doubt be featuring rain and the safety car. And when the green flag is waved, the pack is off. And still doubtful conditions with that spray rising up. Cars going through those first turns, and few attacks happening in the leading positions already at that point. With Aubry going on the attack as well in car number 4, and then the cars start running off. We have numerous runoffs, including Aubry in car number 4. Car number 31 also running off, Neil Verhagen. Car number 40 stuck on the track, Charles Malaysi. That's car number 9 of Max Deforny running off as well. Chavez, car in the gravel, and he's out of the running. After the safety car, attacks happening right from the start, with Tichtum going on the attack on Fenestraz right in the first corner, not managing to get through and then dropping back quite quickly. Fenestraz taking the good line on those first corners, and Daniel Tichtum then dropping back for the rest of the race in the car number 33. He's the first rookie, and he had been putting in some brilliant performances as well during qualifying, and yesterday's race was not too good for him. He dropped back a couple of positions. Attacks happening throughout the race, with further back in the pack numerous attacks happening, but Fenestraz happens to hang on to the lead all the way to the end. Battles happening even back in for the 12th position, with Mattis under pressure from several cars. And Palmer also under pressure from Deforny, as Sascha Fenestraz goes through to take a very easy win here at the Nürburgring for this second race of the weekend. So there we have it for this weekend. The cars off in the Parc Fermé, and the pit lane being cleared for the next races. Time for a quick look back at the highlights. Some nice images from this second race of the Nürburgring. with a clip put together by our team in the TV truck. We'd like to thank you for joining us today on this second race of the Nürburgring weekend. A reminder, the next race coming up on the 21st to the 23rd of July at the Red Bull Ring next weekend, followed by Paul Ricard's Spa-Francorchamps and the last race of the season in Barcelona. Thanks for joining us and see you there.